So many people are critical of pastors. And I understand to a degree because most people's criticisms are based on an individualized experience. They had a bad experience with leadership. And so because of what they had in their reality, they try to make that the absolute truth. It's no different than when women have been hurt by a man. They'll usually categorize all men based on their experiences. And so they'll say all men are terrible. When the truth is that was the experience they had. And we're not discrediting their experience, but you can't say all women are hoes because you ended up in a situation that broke your heart. But we oftentimes limit ourselves and generalize. And so you see it done with pastors as well. People are always looking for an opportunity to discredit leadership. I say all of that because a lot of times leaders get a bad rap when you don't understand just because everybody isn't nationally known on television or has some major following doesn't mean that they're not an effective leader who genuinely care about the people that they serve. There are so many pastors that care about the people that they serve. And I being one of them, I love God's people. And this is the reason why, regardless of the credibility or the popularity that God has graced me to walk in, I am a pastor first. And my heart is with God's people. So today, something dawned on me. Within a church, it's called a fellowship. That's what it should be. Church is supposed to be a fellowship of the saints. This is why I'm very adamant that God does desire for us to regather. And people automatically go into the church is not a building. Yes, but there are buildings in church fellowships. The same way there are buildings within the Chicago Bears is not a stadium. They have a stadium where they are connected. And so we have buildings that we assemble in. And we assemble together as a fellowship. Some of it is online, some of it is in-house. Within the fellowship, you have membership. People who are members of your church, for the most part, are just members. They don't necessarily do anything. They're not necessarily connected to anything. They just go to church. So they're proud to be in membership. Within the fellowship, you have partnership. Partnership literally means one who does their part. So you have those that are partners in that they serve in some capacity, an usher, a greeter, a musician, a singer, partners in investment, they may give. So you have membership, no guaranteed involvement, partnership, people that do their part. But for me at Faith Alive, within our fellowship, the highest level has been discipleship. Those that have truly taken on the mindset of the kingdom of God. They're consistent in their behavior. You never have to look and see where they're at. They are continual. And I have discovered as a pastor, that is one of the hardest groups of people to find are those who really operate in discipleship. And I know people say, teach discipleship. And you can teach people, but for them to submit to be a disciple requires their heart posture to change. So you have people that boast on membership. If I boast membership, I think we have 3,500 members at Faith Alive. So that's the membership. The partnership is those who actually participate and are active. That's like 1,400 people that give, people that serve, right? But discipleship, if you want me to be honest, it's probably 100 people. Pastors who are watching this, you know this. As much as they criticize us, oh, pastors ain't this, pastors ain't that. That's because they've never led people before. If you've really been called into this, if you've really been called to be a pastor, I will tell you this. Your heart is always in recovery. Just when you feel like your heart is strong, either something happens where your heart is broken by the death of a person you love, by betrayal of someone that you put your trust in, by people who leave. And here's the thing you have to understand for those that are always criticizing pastors. It's the people you do the most for that leave and dog you out. So your heart is always in recovery. Here's where you have to be different as a shepherd. You can't let your heart get hard. You have to remain in a posture of love. You have to remain in a posture of grace and mercy. You're not perfect, but you serve a perfect God, and you've been assigned to care for his people. He says, Peter, do you love me? Yes, Lord. Feed my sheep. Peter, do you love me? Yes, Lord. Feed my sheep. Peter, do you love me? Yes, Lord. Feed my sheep. My love for God as a leader is proven by my willingness to feed his people. And there are those who don't understand the responsibility of a pastor. Our job is to feed. Now, people try to make your responsibility out to be a lot of things. Or you're supposed to get out in the streets and you're supposed to march and you're supposed to go to the hospital and No, our job is to feed. We have to feed, and we have to be very intentional in rightly dividing truth. Means that we have to investigate and take time and spend time in the presence of God. So as a pastor within a fellowship, always remember you got membership, partnership, discipleship. And that becomes a challenge because many people don't understand the levels that are involved in ministry. So they get connected to people that are in membership mode. In the membership, they will leave you quick because where there's no investment, there's no connection. The partnership, they stick around longer because they invest with their time or with their resources. But the discipleship, the true ones, you don't have to turn your back and look around. They're there. And if you have those pastors, be grateful for those people who stand by your side. Be grateful for those people who are truly a part of the fellowship, that have your back, that really understand the totality of what you're doing and what needs to be done.